Okay.
Ready?
Okay, Wayne, welcome to French American TV. Um, I'm really happy you accepted my invitation. You sound like a very interesting person. So you are a doctor.
I am.
Are you a psychologist or something else?
I am a chiropractor, but I wear many hats.
Okay. So when a patient comes in, do you do an adjustment on them or do you speak to them first?
Well, all interactions begin with a taking a history and asking them what's going on, so that I can sort of get a sense of where to triage the problem, where to establish a connection with them.
Okay. So from that first initial conversation, you try to lead on to what could be the diagnosis of their problem.
Right. As I mentioned to you before, um, I've never had a patient come in to me and tell me that their sense of self-worth was really bad. They had a horrible sense of fear and they're having difficulty with their
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
connection. And as a result, it was causing them to have a lot of intestinal disorders, stomach stress, and so forth. Like I
Okay.
say, no one's ever come and told me that.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I have had people come in with stomach problems and so forth. And when we drilled down into the problem, we found out that they had a lot of problems with fears. They had problems with their sense of self worth and family issues. And once those issues were resolved, suddenly all of their intestinal disorders went away. The stomach problems disappeared. And
Okay. So you
and
act as a psychologist and then you think you can solve the problem that way.
I'm not a psychologist, and yet there are so many of the problems that if you address the beliefs that are in conflicts, so many of the problems disappear. Now, is that true for everyone? No, but it's true for most, not most of the people. I would say over the over 50% of the people that came to me, I found that most of the problems they had began in the belief system conflicts. And so that's what I did for close to 20 years. And when I finally got to the point where it was time to retire, I decided that I wanted to share some of the stories of what went on so that people could see behind the scenes and get a feeling for to what extent do those stories relate to me.
Okay.
And so it becomes what I call fictional therapy. And I selected a very short story out. If I can share it with you, it might take up to 5 minutes to read it if you're okay with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're welcome to show us whatever you want and so
Can
that we
we
can understand better.
change screens so that I can be on mine? I'm
Sh-
sending you a request. All you gotta do is say yes.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
except they're recording me on the computer of here. Let me see if that
Okay.
works.
Am I allowed to change screens? If not, I'll just read it to you.
Yeah, read it to me because right now we are on the screen of the channel 29.
Okay. Excuse me. This story is called "The Boy Who Waited Too Long." And once upon a time, because that's how all honest stories begin, there was a little boy named Lucas, or Lukey, that's what his mom and dad called him. And he wasn't special in any particular way that people use the word. He was just special in the same way that all kids are. He was small, he was hopeful, and he was very soft in his heart. And every now and then, Lukey would wander into the kitchen and he was trying to get a little bit closer to his mother. It's one of those things that all kids do. And this is where the real ask hides beneath the surface. It's kind of like a fish under a lily pad, if you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother would give him a quick squeeze and she'd give him a kiss on the top of his head. And then she would say the same line every time: "Sweetheart, your grandmother is dying and she needs as much of my time as I can possibly give her right now. So could you please be a good boy and go play, okay?" And so he did for a half a year. 6 months of being a good boy, 6 months of swallowing all of his longings for love, all so Mom could pour all of her love into a woman who was slowly slipping away. And eventually, Grandma did let go and she died. But within 6 months, Lukey was diagnosed with leukemia. Now, most people will chalk that up to biology, and biology certainly had its fingerprints on the scene. But the storyteller in me and the healer in me, it knew better than to stop the investigation there. 10 years passed.
Yeah.
Lukey wasn't little anymore. He was now in a hospital bed. He was pale, he was tired, and he was floating near the edge of his life, just like a leaf that's run out of a river. His mother was exhausted to the bone, and she finally broke down and flew over to Europe for a break. And while she was gone, a storyteller came to visit. The same storyteller that Mom had always turned away. Not she used to say, he doesn't need stories, he needs medicine. Well, she wasn't wrong, but she wasn't entirely right either. And so the storyteller sat down beside Lukey's bed and asked the questions that nobody had asked of sick children. Do you think you did something wrong? But that's not what Lukey thought at all, not even a flicker. And so the storyteller tried something else. He asked about the early years, about Grandma and the slow ticking that led to her end. But and all about those quick hugs in the kitchen he would get from Mom, and about the months and months of waiting for Granny to pass. And as Lukey talked, the storyteller saw something in his eyes. It wasn't guilt, it wasn't shame, it was just a sadness. It was a sadness that knew exactly how long it had been waiting. And so the storyteller did what fictional therapists does best. He tested the story underneath the story, and he offered Lukey two imaginary worlds to consider. In world one was a world that said, the healthier you are, the more love you're going to receive. And in the other world was a place that said, the sicker you are, the closer Mom is going to come to your bed in the same way that she once did for Grandma. And the shift in Lukey's face, it was like one of those moments that you just never forget. It was like watching somebody notice the lever that's been quietly steering his life. He didn't say the words. You see, he couldn't. He didn't have the words. Kids rarely do. But something in him clearly understood, and it quietly whispered, sickness equals closeness. And so the storyteller helped him to gently rearrange his beliefs. So now he saw his greatest love coming from his greatest level of health. And it allowed him to rewrite and flip the script on his inner equation. It didn't change his diagnosis, that wasn't the intention, but to change his story. The next morning, Lukey's white blood count, it dropped.
Nice.
The following day, it dropped again.
Nice.
And by the third day, it was normal.
Wow.
And his leukemia slipped into full remission.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the treatments, specifically the radiation and the months of fighting, it had burned through his bone marrow like a forest fire, and it destroyed his ability to make new blood platelets. And in just shy of 1 month, Lukey died from internal bleeding.
Oh, no.
Not from the leukemia, but from the damage that it caused while it was trying to kill it.
Oh, no.
And so the storyteller carried that boy's story for years. He told it to others sitting in their own pain that was similar, but equally as invisible.
Wow.
He saw a few people find their own mechanism.
Okay.
He saw it shift a few people. He saw a few people soften, and he saw a few people actually heal. But a storyteller without a megaphone can only reach so many hearts.
Oh, no.
And now such a megaphone exists, and you're a part of it. Now fictional therapy has a home. And now Lukey's story can travel farther than any hospital hallway ever could.
Wow.
And maybe, just maybe, a little boy who once waited too long will end up saving people he never had a chance to meet.
So how people find out about you if they're faced with the life and death situation? They
I'm starting to put some of the fictional therapy stories on Substack.
yeah.
Are you familiar with Substack?
Yeah, I heard about it. So
It's a place where writers post their
okay.
work.
Okay.
And so I put on some of my longer novels on there and some of the fictional therapy stories because they they share deep parts of things that can help people, and they're like a mirror that allow people to see themselves in. Some will apply to you,
Yeah.
some won't.
Okay.
But in the same with the story of Lukey,
Yeah.
there are people that apply to. When I put that out, um, it brought tears to my eyes. The simple thing, all he said was, "I was Lukey,"
Oh, yeah. So that's
and
such a sad story though. Do you
like
have
I
a
say,
do you have a story that ends well?
I do. Do you want me to read more?
I want to read one that has a happy
I'm
ending.
happy to do.
Although this is a very touching story, I appreciate the fact that you were able to catch it, not just on time, but you were able to understand what was going on.
This is a story about a man named Thurman,
Okay.
and it's called Thurman, a Man Frozen in Time.
Okay.
And one afternoon, a doctor from the Northwest called.
Yeah.
I didn't know him, I'd never met him, and he never said how he learned about me, but he asked if I would visit one of his former staff members who had fallen into a state of paralysis
Oh,
that nobody could seem to explain.
okay.
And I said, please don't say he's in a hospital. There's so many clients, patients that are in hospital, but the doctor said sorry, and so I waited a minute, and I thought, okay, I will. And so the man in bed, when I walked into his hospital room, he was lying flat on his back.
Oh,
His arms were still, his legs were still, his face was slack in a way that you see when a person is just they've run out of places to hide. And there were a lot of machines blinking and moving all around him. And about the only unmoving part in the whole room was him.
yeah.
But his eyes tracked me,
Yeah.
just barely. It was like he wanted to turn his head, but the fear underneath it all had made that decision for him. He tried to smile, but his smile came out kind of sideways.
Oh,
I didn't say very much. I didn't really need to because fear leaves a scent.
oh,
It hangs in the air like someone just opened a bottle of something that they
yeah.
shouldn't have opened.
Yeah.
And this whole room had that smell, if you know what I mean. And so there was a slow unfreezing of words that eventually took place. And over the next few days, I visited quietly. Sometimes we talked about nothing. And sometimes he just stared at the ceiling. And sometimes I sat for long enough for him to remember that I wasn't leaving, I wasn't going away. And fear melts slower when you don't blow on it. It was clear that the doctors believed that his body was failing him, and they grandstanded with fancy worded conditions like myasthenia gravis and Guillain-Barré
Oh,
syndrome. Oh my. And yet everything in his eyes said something otherwise. You see, it wasn't his body that was paralyzed, it was his truth.
oh,
And by the third day, his eyes had that glassy, too full look. People, people get when the truth is pressing at them from the inside, but it hasn't found an escape crack yet. And he was close. You can feel it when someone is standing right on the edge of saying something that they have never told another soul.
Yeah.
And so I sat beside his bed and I did what the storyteller always does when a person is holding something too heavy to name. I closed both of my hands into soft fists and I held them out palm up, and his eyes followed. And slowly I opened my right fist into an open palm and I said, in this hand, there's a world where goodness expects to be rewarded. And it's a world where being honest brings people closer and where truth softens fear instead of feeding it. And then I opened my left hand and I said, and in this hand lies a world where badness expects punishment.
Oh.
It's a world where every deviation from your truth feels like you're stepping on thin ice that's over a very long drop. And his face didn't change slowly, it broke all at one time. And a single tear slipped out of its eye. It's just barely escaping, and then another, and then the whole dam burst in his face, and his whole body started shaking in a way that people shake when they're not just crying about right now, they're crying about everything that's ever been stored in them over his entire lifetime. And so I let him have that moment, and the room held it with him. And when his breath came in little broken pieces, I asked the only question that ever matters in moments like this. And I said, can I ask why that second world felt so familiar to you? And he tried to speak, but he failed. And then he tried again. And the sound that came out wasn't even a sentence at first. It was just plain with edges. And then the words hit daylight all at one time. Because I'm gay, and if my family finds out, I'll lose them.
Oh.
He didn't whisper it. It tore out of him in a frantic scream like the truth had been banging on the inside of his ribs for years, and it finally found an exit.
Oh.
I didn't rush in. Truth needs space, especially after it's been trapped for that long.
Yeah.
He cried until his whole body softened, until the fear that had been holding him like a vice
Yeah.
finally released its grip. And then something quiet shifted in the room. Not magic, not a miracle, just truth doing what truth always does. When it finally gets to breathe, it unfreezes things. And the next morning when I returned,
Yeah.
he lifted a cup of water all on his own.
Wow.
It was a small thing if you're measuring it by medical standards, but it was a huge thing if you're measuring by belief.
Yeah.
The second day, he stood with some assistance. By the third day, he moved to a recovery ward. Fear freezes and truth unfreezes. You don't need to make it any more complicated than that. It took him nearly a week after that to gather up the courage to call his family, but he did. And the thing that he feared most, it didn't happen. They didn't exile him, they didn't condemn him, and they didn't send him into the outer darkness. They were surprised, of course, and they were also confused, but they weren't willing to lose him over the thing that he had been punishing himself for. And sometimes truth will just break us open just enough for love to get through.
Yeah. So he cured
Months,
him.
months later,
Yeah.
he married his partner in a quiet seaside garden
Oh.
surrounded by the same family that he had spent his whole life fearing he would lose.
Oh.
His parents were there, his siblings, even his grandparents. There were no speeches, just presence.
Wow.
The world from the right hand, it was finally winning.
Oh. So that's
And
there's always two sides.
always, always. And some of the beliefs will cause you to disconnect from life, contract, and self isolate. And other beliefs will allow you to expand and connect with life. And it's being able to find the balance of where you can allow yourself to reconnect with life. Most people think that suffering comes from disease, from fate, from accidents, and from karma, but more often than not, it comes from living too long in a world that's held in the left hand.
Oh,
The world where imagined badness expects punishment. When people finally see that other world, the one in the right hand, something inside of them shifts, and the truth that they've been hiding steps forth, and it says, I'm ready.
oh, yes. So at this point in time, uh, you go see patients in hospitals and try to find what's going on inside their head.
What I do now is I have so many years of stories like this, and to be able to put them into the story form like these are and share them, they allow people to hear them, and it's like a mirror, and some of them apply directly to them, some of them don't.
Yeah.
But in this particular story, if that does not apply to you, I'm pretty sure you know somebody in your life that it does apply to.
Okay. So it says on your LinkedIn, Dr. Wayne Baird, and then it sounds like you do movies in a script format. So what is the connection between doing movies and being a storyteller?
The connection between the what?
It says script format.
Oh, Cinescript. Um, uh, I was a finalist in a screenwriting
Contest.
thing nationally, and so it was a straight screenplay.
Okay.
And if you're writing in full prose, then you have the liberty of going deep dive and doing long form descriptions of things, and someplace in between screenplay and full prose is a place that can benefit both sides. And so I created a form called Cinescript, where you can go from pure screenplay all the way into full prose, and you can fluctuate back and forth so that you can satisfy both the screenplay needs and also the full prose needs. And so I've written some stories in it, and uh, one of them is on Substack,
Yeah.
and it's called the Symbiote, and it was also on LinkedIn.
Okay. So is it under Wayne Baird on Substack?
Uh,
Yeah. Dr. Wayne Baird.
it's just under Wayne Baird.
Wayne Baird.
I decided that I didn't want to hide behind the doctor's title because doctor is just one part of who I am.
Okay. You used to be a chiropractor, correct?
That is correct.
But you retired from that part of your life.
I'm having a lot more fun writing stories and talking to people about the different beliefs that are behind the stories.
Like you can do a 2 hour movies with mini stories, and then make a full movie out of it.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That
Wouldn't
would.
that be wouldn't that be nice to run into someone like Steven Spielberg and impress him, or
Well, you can do one at a time. You go to a hospital, take a couple people who can play the script, or just take new people who can tell you in front of the camera, and you tell them with the two hands what the problem is, and then a few weeks later you videotape them that they are healed, and then you do another one and another one. Maybe it will take a year to do many, but once you reach your 2 hours, then you make it uh, how do you call it, a movie that will reach uh, crowds of people, because they'll say, oh, that's a miracle in that story, that's another miracle in that story. And once you put a few stories together, you'll be a bestseller, not a movie, right?
Well, your thinking is so absolutely beautiful. The only difficulty with that is this thing called HIPAA compliance, where people are they're entitled to their anonymity
Oh,
and
yeah, you can
their
get
privacy.
actors. You can get actors. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah,
There are so many actors.
and that's why it's titled fictional therapy.
Yeah, I mean, you can go in acting school and get a couple actors. The doctor, which would be you, would be the same actor, but the patients
I,
will be
I,
different.
I'm not a very good actor.
Yeah, you would get the same person to be the doctor and different people to play the different parts that you encountered.
I love your optimism.
Yeah, no, but it's possible. It's possible because when people see a miracle happening, they tell other people, they say, go watch this, see how this
There,
doctor
there,
cure people.
there are a startling number of miracles taking place in the world of healthcare all the time,
Yeah,
and I don't believe that they have the same access to the media
yeah.
as conventional hospital and pharmacological approach to healthcare
Yes, yes.
stories do,
Yeah,
if you
I
know what I
heard.
mean.
What do you think that AI will take the place of doctors? That's not possible because your perspective cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence, can it be?
I, um, I think that AI can be a really good assistant, but I don't think it can fully take over. But there are a lot of things that take place in healthcare that's just repetitive stuff. The bookkeeping and being able to do interaction over the internet, just like you and I speaking with each other now.
Yeah, but you cannot be replaced ever, right? I mean, your perspective is unique, right?
Well, the diagnostic skills of AI are showing themselves to be uh, probably better than than
Actual
the
doctor.
than the actual doctors. And I think that as time goes by and the technology improves, that things like old age will become unnecessary,
Yeah.
and the ability to do all the internal cleaning and so forth. That the technology will be there to do that. But how long in the future? It's probably like fusion. It's like fusion
No,
energy. Always 10 years in the future.
but the fact that you can pick up the issue in a patient, it cannot be from a machine. It can be only from you because you spoke to that real person and you are a real person. How can a machine perceive what the problem was?
Um, I understand what you're asking,
Yeah.
and I have too many experiences with misdiagnoses to um, to think that the AI doesn't have a chance. Are they going to replace doctors? I don't think so. But are they going to be really good sidekicks and good right hand assistants to doctors? I think so.
Yeah. Can you train other doctors to do what you do?
I could. The only problem is that I haven't found very many people interested enough in it to do it.
Okay. So if you show,
However,
if you,
if there were other doctors that were interested, I'm happy to share.
okay, but if you talk to a friend and he's a doctor, to tell him, look what I did with this patient, I healed him. Would you like to learn how to do it? Is that something
I
you
would
can, is that
well
something that you can
the
teach?
the problem is that I don't claim that me telling stories heals people. The only people that can heal them is themselves. And
Okay.
so there's things that you just don't make claims that I will tell you a story and you will heal. That's not. It's both ethically and legally incorrect because nobody knows for sure that any story they tell is going to do anything, and so I just tell stories, and people hear them, and different people have different reactions to them. And for the ones that it just goes over their head, I shrug my shoulders and say, okay. And for some people, they listen to it and it hard. The only thing really that's going to heal people is it is something that you'll never find it on an anatomical chart. It's
Hmm.
called their willpower.
Okay,
And if you have some way of getting them to access to the most powerful thing in their body or in their being, their willpower, then they have a chance to do all kinds of things beneficially for themselves.
do you think there are other doctors who can pick up on a cause like you do? On a
I think there's some really brilliant doctors out there. I would never put myself in the top 1%. It's, that all sounds great, but I think there's some really brilliant doctors out there that are unbelievably insighted.
But doctors nowadays they spend only 5 to 10 minutes with the patient. But in order to do what you do, you need to spend a little time with the patient to find out the root cause.
And you just said the whole thing right there is that if you're working on an assembly line type of healthcare, then
Yeah,
you only have so much time that you're allowed to spend
yeah,
with a
like
patient.
you allow 15 minutes usually,
How long do your doctors spend with you?
5 to 15 minutes,
Say, and there you go.
because they are
When
supposed they
I
are, the hospital tells them you have to see four patients per hour.
that you just said it right there. And if you're on that kind of assembly line, conveyor belt healthcare system, then that's what you have. If you're lucky enough to find someone that'll spend however much time you need,
That's that's
if you need an,
expensive.
if you need
Time is expensive, isn't it?
well, if you need an hour, sometimes you need an hour. Uh, if you have the ability to pay for an hour of doctor's care, they're not really that expensive.
Okay, usually 15 minutes is 300 to 400, so an hour would be like at least 1,000.
I don't charge that.
Okay, where are you located?
I'm in San Jose,
San Jose is a
and
pretty high scale, isn't it?
yeah, you're in San Francisco, so
Yeah, it's also high scale, high cost of living.
right. I'm right in the middle of Silicon Valley.
Yeah, so you have some wealthy clients.
They're there.
Yeah,
They're out there.
because in California they said we have the largest number of billionaires in the country percentage wise. Like it used to be like over 50,000 20 years ago. Now it's probably at least 100,000 over there. But they don't put it on their forehead. I am a millionaire. It's on paper, but there's a large percentage of them in San Francisco, Silicon Valley.
If you know the area, you know that there are people that if they find out what you do and it's something that they need, then they're going to track you down and they're going to get you to do what they want, and they're not particularly concerned about what your charges are.
Exactly, exactly. So you need to target these people. If they have issues, if they don't have issues, then you have to target people who have issues.
Yeah, that's why it's more fun telling stories because one story, like right here, depending on how many viewers you have,
Yeah.
look at how many people can benefit from a single story for free.
Oh, that's true. They can find you on Dr. Wayne Baird on LinkedIn too.
Right. LinkedIn was a very they are more of a business model,
Oh,
and so the people on there really aren't looking to read a storyteller because
okay.
it's inconsistent with the platform that they offer there.
Okay. And how many people do you track, let's say per year, who you can help?
I don't track any of them.
No?
No, because I hear from them from time to time, and it's interesting that I will work with somebody and I may not hear from them again. And years will pass, and all of a sudden they will stumble back into my life. And I said, "Hey, I never heard from you. I hope I did okay." And they go, "No, you did fine." I was clear. I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me?"
Oh, okay.
It would have been some great feedback to know
That's
that,
true. Yeah.
all this. But some people are anxious to tell you, this work that is really great, and others they just, it's
They
like
just move on and
they feel like they're calling the gas station back to say, "Oh, your gasoline worked great. It got me to." They have about the same amount of feedback concern as that, and so I understand. Some will, some won't.
okay. Okay. And then let's say your next case would be in the hospital, most likely.
I don't usually go into hospitals, as you read, as I read to you the one. If I find out that someone's in the hospital, I dread going there and doing it. Number one, I don't have hospital privileges in hospitals anymore, or
Okay.
not that I ever did. And usually, when someone's in the hospital, they're under the jurisdiction of a prescription doctor or a
Yeah.
surgical doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. It cannot be just a storyteller.
And right, and that sounds like a bunch of nonsense to most prescription doctors. They're
Yeah.
they're
If you
they're
tell,
they're humored and intrigued by it.
yeah, if you tell a patient that you can cure him through storytelling rather than through conventional medicine prescribed by a physician, they'll say, "I'm not sure that's gonna work." They need to try it uh, before they can pay you, see if it works.
The fictional therapy, the goal of it is to identify specific beliefs that we have that create that create a lot of energetic contraction and self-isolation,
Yeah.
and identify the ways that we can reverse that and allow ourselves to energetically expand and connect with life. And there's a lot of different things that cause us to either contract or expand. And going through them one at a time requires a lot of stories.
So the two stories you told us previously, these people, how did they find you? Did you find them?
Yeah, the one with the mother that went to
Yeah.
Europe, I was kind of blacklisted because I was voodoo guy, and just I was a violation of their religion,
Oh, okay.
and so I was excluded, and it wasn't until the mother left town that I was brought in, and without going into it, I will tell you that the story behind the story is
Yeah.
probably way more fascinating than the story I read itself.
Okay, okay. So through connection, you found that case.
I don't know where I run into these people, but um, when things happen that are pretty interesting, it's hard to realize where those stories travel to.
Okay, okay. So sometimes you're just faced with them and you're able to help these people. Yeah, it could be, let's say, a friend who talked to you, or it could be a doctor who heard about you and say, "Hey, can you do something about my patient?"
That was a case with Thurmond.
Oh, Turner.
I was contacted from somebody all the way long ways away. I won't reveal where for
Okay.
privacy purposes, but
Yeah,
it was a long ways away.
and he said, "I'm sure you can
I,
help him."
I once had a man that lived on an island at the northwest corner of Africa come to visit me just so that he could be in my presence. Can you believe that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. And what did you do with him? You listened to his story?
We were just doing allergy work.
Energy work, okay.
Allergy
Oh,
work.
allergy, okay.
Because the allergies are just energetic incompatibilities.
Oh,
And so when you approach it like that and people realize you're talking about an energetic incompatibility that you're going to resolve, I have a running into allergies that I couldn't resolve. And he had to experience it, and so he did. And he got what he came for, and it tickled pink.
Oh, so a lot of people you think who have allergy, the root cause is sentimental or something.
It can be for a lot of, it can just be a straight allergy.
Okay.
Like if you're allergic to any of the basic ones, like airborne things,
Yeah.
things that you breathe in,
Yeah.
or things that you touch that have certain textures to them,
Yeah.
contactants, or chemical ones.
Yeah.
And then there's food allergies.
Yeah.
Then there's biological allergies. And any of the categories that you fall into, a lot of them are just for some reason your body is incompatible with that. But there's some of them that there are beliefs behind it. For
Oh, okay.
example, is our time okay?
Yes.
Okay. There is I was doing a class in teaching allergies, and there was a man that brought his wife in to see. They were in the class.
Yeah.
They were Russian, and she had allergies to shellfish, and she also had allergies to um, nuts. I'm trying to think of it. The green fruit that you have to
Kiwi?
Kiwi. She was allergic to kiwis.
Oh, okay.
And so we did, at the end of the class, we
Yeah.
did a treatment on her for the shellfish and the kiwi.
Yeah.
And the next week they came back to class, and the shellfish allergy was totally gone.
Oh,
But the kiwis allergy was still there.
okay.
And if somebody does not if the allergy does not go away from something like instantly, it tells me that there's some belief underneath it that's holding it in place.
Okay.
And so I asked her, is there something about kiwis that that you have some sort of an issue with? And she said, not that I can think of. And her husband goes, do you remember, they were from Russia, and he goes, do you remember about 30 years ago, some of her girlfriends were there, and one of them gave her a kiwi to eat,
Okay.
and she just started eating it like an apple, skin
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah.
She didn't realize you're supposed to peel the skin off it,
I
and
see.
all of her friends started laughing at her,
Ah.
and laughing at her. Her interpretation was they think I'm stupid,
Ah.
and thereafter she was
She didn't want kiwi anymore.
she had a horrible response to it, an allergic reaction to it, and so I did the same thing. The two worlds. I says let's imagine that if there's something that you don't know about, it makes you feel that here's a great opportunity to expand your knowledge base. At the other extreme, when you run into something that you don't know about, it's a good time to shut up and
Oh.
be quiet so people don't realize how stupid you are.
Okay, got it.
And guess which extreme she was closest to?
Oh, this one, the one where you're
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah. She didn't want to be, because deep down inside she felt she was stupid,
Oh,
because she didn't know how to just say, I don't know, tell me. She didn't know that. And so we shifted her belief over to the one that said, if there's something I don't know about, it's a great opportunity to ask questions and become more enlightened about it. So then I'll have a greater amount of knowledge. So we shifted that, and then we redid the allergy treatment for the kiwi, and next week the kiwi allergy was totally gone.
awesome.
So sometimes, like the shellfish, it's just you're having an energetic incompatibility with something,
Yeah.
and it's causing some sort of an adverse reaction to take place in your body.
Yeah.
And sometimes it has to do with there's some belief that's unsettled, that's unresolved.
Yeah.
And if you take care of the belief conflict, then the incompatibility with the actual allergen usually disappears,
Yeah.
as it did with her.
Okay, so it's
Does
all
that
in.
help?
Yes, I understand now. So it's all in her head, then you switched it.
That's where most stuff is. It's in your head.
So you look pretty healthy, even though you probably retired now and all that. So what's the secret to your health?
I don't know. I'm 76 now, and I don't use any pharmaceutical things at
Products?
all.
Do you take
And so
supplements?
I was a biochemist at UC Berkeley,
Ah,
and
okay.
I'm also a nutritionist, and so I have a pretty good understanding of how the body works and what it needs and what it doesn't need. And as long as I'm true to myself and I make sure that the things that I put in it are compatible with the temple, as they say,
Yeah,
then I don't have a problem. And I have occasional excesses like everybody else. I was in Michigan and I ate some of those damn White Castle hamburgers.
yeah,
and, um, uh,
but not every day. Yes.
no, so I have a pretty good idea of what works in the body and what's going to clean it up and what's going to mess it up. And so, um, yeah, I take as good a care of myself as I can.
Yeah, so you're your own doctor. Yeah, I mean, you know exactly what to put inside your body and inside your mind too, because you
and
want.
and that's it. Is that this thing called homeostasis,
Yeah,
the balance? It's we are physical beings, we are mental beings, we are spiritual beings, and between thoughts, motion, and chemistry,
yeah,
that pretty much explains the human experience.
yeah,
And if you only address one thing, then that's a problem. You know, it's the old story that if the only tool you have is a hammer, then all problems look like a nail.
yes, I heard
Yeah,
that from dentists
yeah,
because they say the only thing you learn in dental school is that you have to pull the tooth when there are other ways
yeah,
of filling of
yeah.
curing a tooth.
And so if you have a broad enough toolbox and you have a broad enough way of approaching all the aspects of the body
Yeah,
so that you can create some homeostasis, some balance in the body, then good on you. You
yeah,
know,
you don't have
you're
to
gonna
look.
live you're gonna live a longer and happier life.
Yeah, you don't need to just stick with the hammer, right?
Yeah.
Do you
And so
do you when you were a chiropractor, did you prescribe actual doctor prescriptions?
no, chiropractors aren't allowed to do prescription, just nutrition.
Okay, so you
But I never. I'm trying to think of. There might have been one time when I was a chiropractor that I actually sent someone to a medical doctor because they actually needed something. They desperately needed some antibiotics, and they didn't want to do that. I said, no, you need to go and do that.
but you're allowed to advise them some over-the-counter supplements.
Yeah, there's some over-the-counter supplements that are okay, uh, but they're basic things like water.
Yeah,
Having
water is a prescription.
for people that don't have it. There's so many, we live on a planet that's 75% water and 75% of the people are dehydrated. How do you work that out?
Oh, okay. You remind me of the comedian Bill Maher or something like that.
Bill Maher,
Bill Maher. Are
that
you
guy.
are you one of his fan? You speak like him.
Well, I congratulate him for allowing me to pick that up. We watch him all the time,
Oh, that's why.
and
That's why.
I absolutely love the guy.
Yeah, yeah. You have that little sense of humor like him, and that expression on your face like him. So yeah, you can be a comedian one day. Maybe you never know.
I don't know about that. Um, I think I'm funniest when I'm not trying to be funny, but if I actually try and be funny and tell a joke, nobody even smiles.
Or what I would advise you to do is start your own show where you are funny and tell your stories. Would that work? You start your own show online.
I'll come and see you.
Yes, I can help you start your own show.
And you can be the MC, the moderator.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
do that. Yeah, yeah.
but if all the stories are about healthcare breakthroughs and things like that, you start seeming like a one-trick pony after a while. There's stories in all aspects of life, and they're all
Yes,
so cool.
yes. Then there's variety in your show, and
Yeah,
and then it's creative and it's funny and it's good. Anyway, it's such a pleasure to talk to you. I can't tell you how grateful I am that you accepted my invitation just 2 weeks from Christmas. So many people are traveling and out of town.
I just got back from traveling.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful because a lot of people are contacted say, I'm in France, I am here, I'm there. I say, what's going on? It's not even Christmas yet. So you are amazing. Thank you so much. I was very enlightened by your two stories and by the what you had to say. It's so true and I believe it. I believe that it's all in there and it makes you healthy or sick. Thank you so much. I enjoyed talking to you.
It's a good life, and thank you so much for having me. It's been a
Yeah.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Aline.
Yes. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Have you shut off already?